What's up guys, it's Aiden and Lacey from Rain City, and today our mom will be showing you guys how to sew the High Street Halter top. You can purchase this pattern down below in our website, so we'll be linking it down below. So let's get sewing.
Let's sew at the same time.
Our required pieces consist of the front skirt, the back skirt, 2 straps, 1 elastic, the outside back, and we're doing option A, so we have a center and 2 sides. The sides are mirrored, a back liner and a front liner. To assemble my skirt, I'm going to take my skirt pieces and I'm going to lay it right side together. So this piece is right side up. This is the back piece. And I'm going to take my front piece and lay it right side together with the back piece, lining up this side seam right here. Now you can serge this, or if you're using a sewing machine and using woven, you're going to want to do a zigzag stitch on that raw edge to keep it from fraying, and then run a straight stitch down this edge. And then once you have that done, you're going to repeat on the other side. So I have my side seam sewn here, and I just ran a serge down and then I sewed the side seams. So the next thing we want to do is to do a stay stitch on this inside diameter. This is where it's going to connect at the waist, and the stay stitch is just going to keep it from stretching out when you sew it on. So just run a straight stitch all the way around. So here I have my stay stitch sewn on my inside circle, and next we want to hem. So we have a few options for hemming. You can fold this edge up a 1/2 inch and sew it in place, and that works if you have a serger and can secure that raw edge, or if you are using knit fabric. If you're using woven fabric and can't secure that edge, then you can fold it up a 1/4 inch and then fold it up another 1/4 inch. The other option is to sew horsehair braid to the right side of the fabric and then flip it to the wrong side, or you can do a rolled hem, which is what I'm doing. My skirt is now hemmed. It's time to do the straps. So we're going to do the straps next, and this is my finished strap. And to make this strap, you're just going to take your strap piece and fold it a few times. So you have to fold this one short edge in, this guy right here, and you also have to fold it in half. So you're going to fold it in half and press. You're going to create a center line right here. And then you're going to open it up, and then you're going to fold the sides towards that center line and then press it. And then you're going to fold it one more time and give it another good press and sew it so that it stays closed. So not the folded side, but these sides right over there, all the way down. Next, we're going to assemble our bodice. So we have a center and we have 2 side pieces, and they're all right side up. And there's my wrong side. So we're just going to take this side piece and lay it right side together with our center piece. And we're going to line up the side seam right here, and we're going to run a stitch all the way down it. So we've got that side sewn, and I pressed my seam open, and now we're just going to sew the other side on. So right sides together and line up this side seam here and sew from here all the way to here. Next, we're going to want to sew our back piece on. So we're going to take it and lay it right side together, and we're going to line up the side seams. So this one right here, And we're just going to run a straight stitch from one side to the other. Okay, so with that done, we're going to move on to our liner. So we need our front liner piece. We're going to lay it right side up. And we're going to take our back liner piece and we're going to lay it right side down so that they're right sides together. And we're going to line up these sides like we did before. So next we're going to sew our straps onto our bodice and just lay them so that they angle in towards the center line and clip it in place. That's your center line. And make sure that the side you're putting on there isn't your folded edge. You want that raw edge up against that sweetheart. So this edge right there. And you can pin it or clip it. And then you're just going to want to baste those on there. So now that we have our straps basted on, we're just going to take our liner and turn it right side out. So see, this is my seam. So that's the wrong side. And we're going to insert it into the bodice front. And we want to line it up at the side seams and line it up at the sweetheart. And then we're going to take it to our machine and we're going to stitch all the way around this top area of the front, traveling all the way to the back and then back up and around again. With the liner sewn to the bodice, you're going to want to clip the corners and trim the seam allowance, turn it right side out and give it a press. With my bodice all pressed, I'm going to top stitch around here and then all the way around to the back. With everything top stitched, I need to create my casing. So I have my liner exposed to you right now because it makes it easier to see, but I've drawn a line in chalk 1 inch down from where I've top stitched. So you're just going to go from one side seam, which is way over here, to the other side seam to create that casing. And then we're going to thread our elastic through there with a safety pin. So my casing is sewn and I'm going to take my elastic, it's stuck on a safety pin, and I'm going to insert it into my bodice here, right into that casing. And just thread it through until this edge reaches a 1/4 inch past this seam right here. Once it gets there, I'm going to stitch it in place so that it can't move, and then I'll finish threading the rest of my elastic through. So almost there. So there, you can see kind of the outline of it. Now I'm just going to stitch it down right in the seam line of my side seam. I have it sewn here. I'm just going to continue threading it through. And once I get to this side and a little bit past it, about 1/4 inch past this side seam, I'm going to take my safety pin off. Make sure that you haven't twisted your elastic somehow during the process. So that right there is about a 1/4 inch. So I'm just checking. Now my elastic has rotated, and now I'm just going to stitch it in place right there. So now that my elastic is sewn in place, the next step is to sew the bodice to the skirt, which is pretty easy. First thing, let's open up our skirt and figure out which is the front of the skirt. The front of the skirt will be the smaller circle. So this has all these bumps, that's the back. Now I'm going to take my bodice and lay it on top, right sides up. And then I'm just going to fold that skirt over onto it. And then I'm going to find my side seams of the bodice and of the skirt, and I'm going to line those up, and I'm going to clip them in place. And then I'm going to find the one on this side and line it up and clip it in place. And then I'm going to just kind of line up the middle of the front and clip it in place. I'm going to repeat that for the back. So I'm just going to walk the pieces around until I get around center. So now that I'm all clipped in place, I'm going to sew the skirt here. Now if you're using a sewing machine, you're going to want to zigzag that stitch and then sew a straight stitch to secure it. If you're using a serger, you can just serge it all the way around. Nothing more to do with that. So I went and I sewed, and then I secured my edges with a serge. Now if you have a serger, you don't have to do that. You can just serge it on there. But if I didn't have a serger, I would want to do the same method, but with a zigzag stitch. So the blue would be zigzag, the white line here would be my stitch to secure it. So now the only thing left to do is to press our new seam up and then just top stitch it. So we're going to press this seam up right here all the way around, and then we're going to top stitch it. Okay, so that's it. We've got our seam top stitch, and the only thing you want to do now is go back over your dress and make sure there's no more loose threads, and you're all done.
You have to blink your
What's
eye.
up, guys?
Oh!
I'm doing it, Lucy. So let's get sewing.
Wait, how about we do it together?
So the High Street Halter top. And today, dang it!